My name is Helen Martin. I'm 80 years old. I did not expect one of the hardest parts of retirement to be letting go of things I once believed proved I had made it. I worked too long and too hard to think that way lightly. I built a business. I raised children. I bought things. I collected comfort. I collected proof. And then one day I sat at my own table with my glasses low on my nose and my numbers in front of me, and I saw something I could not ignore. I was not in trouble. I was not broke. But I was carrying too many expensive things into a season of life that was supposed to feel lighter. You see, retirement is not just about what I saved. It is also about what I keep paying for without thinking. That realization changed the way I looked at my house, my travel habits, my extra property, and even the way I wanted to help my children. I did not know it at the time, but what I chose to sell gave me more freedom than what I chose to keep. Let me tell you what happened. I spent most of my life believing that if I earned something, I should enjoy it, and I still believe that. Let me explain. I am not one of those people who thinks money should just sit in an account while I stare at the wall. I believe in living. I believe in beauty. I believe in travel. I believe in making a full life while I still have the strength to enjoy it. But I also believe in math, and math does not care about my pride. Math does not care that I worked through discrimination, raised 3 children, stayed married, built a company, bought commercial property, and learned how to invest after making painful mistakes. My numbers were clear. My retirement was strong, but it could be stronger. And here is what I did not understand then. Some of the things I owned were not just sitting there quietly. They were pulling money out of my life every single month. The first thing I had to face was expensive toys. I know that sounds sharp, but that is exactly how I had to say it to myself. Expensive toys. That can mean a luxury car. It can mean a boat. It can mean a hobby machine that sits in storage most of the year. It can mean anything I bought because I thought, finally, now I can. In my case, it was not one flashy thing. It was a pattern. A nicer car than I truly needed. A few upgraded comforts around my travel life. Extras that felt small alone, but heavy together. You know what surprised me most? I was not paying for joy as much as I was paying for upkeep, insurance, service, storage, repairs, registration. Small things that did not feel small anymore. When I was younger, time was the problem. I worked constantly. So when I bought something fun, I made the most of the little time I had. That made sense then. But retirement changed the picture. I had more free time, yes, but I also had a bigger responsibility to protect my cash flow. I was no longer building toward freedom. I was already in it. That meant every extra $500 mattered. Every extra 1,000 mattered. Many people think that only a huge expense can damage a retirement plan. I do not believe that. I have seen how a few $100s a month repeated over and over, can change what kind of life I get to live 10 years later. I remember sitting with Paul and saying, "We are not talking about what we deserve. We are talking about what we want our days to feel like." That changed the whole conversation. We were not punishing ourselves. We were choosing ease. We sold what no longer gave us enough value for the cost. And I felt relief faster than I expected. That is the part people do not talk about. Selling is not always loss. Sometimes selling is breathing room. The next thing I had to think hard about was expensive, depreciating assets. And yes, I am going to say the controversial one. Recreational vehicles, RVs. I understand the dream. Believe me, I do. The open road, the big trip, the feeling that I can wake up in one place and sleep in another. Retirement makes that dream feel very close. I had that feeling too. I thought, maybe this is the season to do something adventurous before the body slows down more. I did not know it at the time, but wanting the feeling and wanting the actual ownership were not the same thing. I started paying attention to what RV ownership really meant. Purchase price, insurance, fuel, maintenance, repairs, depreciation, and then the most frustrating part of all, the stories from people who bought brand new units and ran into problems almost right away. I listened. I watched, I learned, and here is what I did not understand then. New does not always mean safe. Expensive does not always mean simple. A beautiful new RV can become a chain of arguments, delays, warranty confusion, and repair bills before the first big adventure even begins. So I made myself slow down. That matters. Retirement can make me impatient in a different way. I start thinking, I do not have forever, so maybe I should hurry. But hurry is expensive. Let me explain. I realized I did not need to buy the dream to test the dream. I could rent first. I could try the lifestyle before I tied money to it. And yes, renting felt expensive. I hated that part. It seemed wasteful at first, but compared to buying the wrong thing, renting was cheap tuition. It taught me what I enjoyed, what I did not enjoy, and what kind of travel actually fit my life now. That one decision saved me from making an expensive emotional purchase. And if I had already owned something like that, and it sat still more than it moved, I would have had to tell myself the truth. A parked luxury is still costing me money. A dream I rarely use is still sending me bills. That matters in retirement. The third thing I had to face was the size of my home. This one was personal. I live in a beautiful home. I am grateful for it. I know what it means because I know where I came from. I grew up in tight rooms. I grew up watching my mother count coins. So yes, a big home felt like success to me. It felt like safety. It felt like I had outrun old fear. But you see, a home can be more than a blessing. It can also become a job. Once children grow up and leave, space changes meaning. Rooms go quiet. Closets stay closed. Guest spaces wait months for use. But the bills do not get quiet. Property taxes do not get quiet. Insurance does not get quiet. Heating, cooling, electricity, yard work, repairs, cleaning, leaks, gates, paint, roof issues, all of it keeps talking. And as I got older, the money was only part of it. The management became tiring. Finding reliable people to fix things is harder now. Waiting for workers, checking quotes, watching costs rise. Holding a house together takes energy. That matters just as much as dollars. I had to ask myself a question that stung a little. Do I own this house, or does this house own part of me? I did not ask that question easily, but it was the right question, and here is what I learned. I did not need to give up comfort to give up excess. I did not need to live small to live smart. I needed a home that fit my life now, not my life 20 years ago. The same truth reached into the idea of a second home. I understand why people want one. It sounds stable. It sounds elegant. It sounds like a reward. But retirement gave me something I never had enough of before: time. I no longer needed one fixed escape. I could stay in different places for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even a month if I wanted. That changed everything. Why tie up money in a second property I had to insure, maintain, furnish, and worry about, when I could simply go where I wanted, when I wanted, and leave the maintenance to someone else? That same thinking led me to the fourth thing: timeshares. Let me be plain. I understand why they tempt people. They promise ease. They promise routine. They promise a place for family. And when children are young, that routine can feel wonderful. But families change. Grandchildren grow. Preferences change. Energy changes. Travel styles change. What felt simple at one stage can feel restrictive later. And if I want out, getting out is often much harder than getting in. You know what surprised me most? The problem was not only the money, it was the inflexibility. Retirement is one of the few times in life when I finally get to ask myself what I want my year to look like. Why would I lock that freedom into the same trip, the same place, the same timing, year after year, if my heart wants something else? A timeshare can become a bill attached to a memory I no longer want to repeat. Now let me tell you the fifth thing, and this is the one that reached deepest into my heart. I had to sell the attitude that I should help my adult children with everything just because I could. That one hurt. I love my children. I love my grandchildren. I have worked hard so I could bless my family. I believe in generosity, but generosity without limits can turn into fear wearing a kind face. I saw how easy it would be to keep stepping in. A little help with a house, a little help with school, a little help with a rough season, a little help because I wanted their lives to feel lighter than mine did when I was young. Honestly, that sounds loving, and sometimes it is. But I had to stop and face something uncomfortable. My children can borrow for a house. They can borrow for school. They can rebuild after mistakes. But I cannot borrow for retirement. I cannot take out a loan for more healthy years. I cannot finance peace of mind at 80. And here is what I did not understand then. Sometimes helping too much does not strengthen my children. Sometimes it delays their own strength. I wanted to leave them options, not dependency. I wanted to support them, not quietly teach them that I would always absorb the pressure. So I changed. I became more thoughtful. I asked more questions. I helped only when it truly made sense, and only when it did not put my own security at risk. That shift was not cold. It was mature. It honored the life I had built. It honored the years I have left. You see, when I was younger, I thought retirement was about reaching a number. Now I know retirement is also about protecting my energy, my flexibility, my confidence, and my time. Money is part of that, but only part. Every big monthly obligation pulls on those things. Every unnecessary expense narrows my choices. And every emotional spending habit can quietly become a burden. I remember one afternoon when I walked through my own house alone and saw retirement differently. I passed the formal dining room, the upstairs guest room, the back sitting room, and the storage closet. I touched furniture I barely used. I looked at rooms I still had to cool in the summer and heat in the winter. And I said out loud, "Why am I paying to preserve space I do not truly live in?" That question stayed with me. It followed me into every bill I opened. It followed me into every repair estimate. You see, I had spent decades learning how to acquire. Retirement forced me to learn how to release. I had a similar moment with family help. One of my children was talking through a financial decision, and I felt that old urge rise. I wanted to make the tension disappear. I love being able to help. It makes me feel useful. But I sat with that feeling a little longer than usual. And here is what I didn't understand then. Sometimes the check is not the answer. Sometimes the better gift is calm advice, clear boundaries, and confidence in my child's ability to solve a problem without me rescuing them. That is harder. It is harder because money can feel like love when I use it that way. But money is not always love. Sometimes restraint is love too. I also started thinking about healthy years, not just calendar years. That changed my planning in a serious way. At 80, I do not look at time the same way. I know I may have many years left, and I am grateful. But I also know that my strongest years are limited. My years of easy travel and steady energy are precious. So when I let waste stay in my budget, I am not just risking money. I am risking options during the years when I can still enjoy them most. Let me explain. If I keep paying for things that do not serve me, I may one day say no to a meaningful trip, a family experience, a generous act, or a simpler lifestyle change because I tied up too much cash in old obligations. I do not want that. That is why I keep coming back to monthly cost. People love talking about purchase price because it sounds dramatic. But retirement is often shaped by monthly cost. It is shaped by the bill that repeats, the insurance that renews, the maintenance that comes back, the tax that rises, the property I still hold because I have not made a decision, the promises I made to grown children because I feared disappointing them. Those repeating patterns have power. They can quietly direct my whole retirement if I let them. So I started doing something simple. I wrote down every major expense that came with every major possession. Not just the fun part, not just the dream, everything. The annual insurance, the expected maintenance, the repairs, the storage, the taxes, the travel cost connected to it. The true total changed the way I felt. Something that looked manageable in my head looked heavy on paper. That exercise made several decisions easier. I am 80 now. I care less about owning symbols and more about protecting peace. I care less about looking successful and more about staying secure. I care less about what sounds exciting in a conversation and more about what feels light in real life. Honestly, that change has made me happier than I expected. So, if I can leave you with one thing, it is this. Before I retire, I need to look around my life and ask, what is costing me more than it is giving me? I need to be honest. I need to be brave. I need to remember that selling something does not mean I failed. It may mean I finally understand what freedom is. And if this story sounds familiar, I would love to hear from you. I read the comments because I want to know how other people are thinking through this stage of life. Tell me which of these was hardest for me to hear, or which one you are facing in your own life right now. And if this kind of honest retirement talk helps you, subscribe and stay with me, because I speak about money, aging, and family the way I wish someone had spoken to me years ago. I do not believe in fear, but I do believe in clarity. A simple click on like tells me this kind of conversation matters, and it helps more people my age find it. I am not here to impress anybody. I am here to tell the truth as plainly as I can. And the truth is, retirement is too precious to waste on avoidable costs and quiet pressure. I have learned that the hard way, and I am grateful I learned it while I still have time to enjoy the lesson. Stay close and listen to the next story too, because this one connects directly to the mistake many people make when they wait too long to protect their retirement years.